There's no better way to start your new year with a refresh, newly decorated home. And we're talking about Article. Article has it all, whether it's indoor furniture, outdoor furniture, bedroom, dining room, kitchen set. Article has amazing furniture, mid-century Scandinavian industrial bohemian designs. It's truly impressive furniture. I've gotten so many compliments on my Article furniture. Free shipping is available across the U.S. and Canada, and orders over $999. It's truly incredible furniture. You have amazing prices because they cut out the middleman. There's no showrooms or crap like that. They make the whole shopping experience super easy, super seamless. If you don't like it, they make it your ability to exchange and return things super incredibly easy. I can't recommend it enough for all your furniture needs. So freshen up your new apartment, your new house, your backdoor set. Article really has it all. Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/VIALL and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/VIALL for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
You're crazy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another glorious episode of the Viall Files Ask Nick edition. I'm your host, Nick, joined by Allie and Amanda. What is going on?
Glorious is a fun word.
Glorious, yeah.
Ooh la la.
Happy Valentine's Day.
That was last week.
Happy
Allie.
belated
today,
Can I just
today,
for once
today is
say the actual day it is as opposed to when it's going to be
She's like,
released?
I'm sick of being caught in a web of lies.
Yeah, so you're recording this intro on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And I love Valentine's Day.
You seem
Yeah.
disappointed.
Yeah, I am disappointed.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I am
You wanna
fucking
vent?
disappointed.
You want to vent?
Let it
Well,
out.
yeah,
Put it in the book,
because like
honey.
the worst part is it's not like my boyfriend has to work until fucking like midnight tonight. He had to be there at 6 a.m. and this was a change in his schedule and it just fucking sucks.
Did
and
he do anything about it? Like Nally and I have a busy day today. I have work. She has work. But last night, it was actually her. She
She did a little Valentine's Day something?
She went out of her way to have a Valentine's Day.
That's
night
so
before.
lovely.
Yeah.
Very
That's
cute.
What did Nick do?
Well, he's just been like working all week. So like yesterday he called me. He'd gotten to work at like 6 or 7 a.m. and at 10:30 he was like starting to leave. And it's like it's a job that's like not only like it's like really physically demanding. He's like building shit and taking it down all day and like carrying around stuff. So that was when it became that was what he was just like, I don't know, like really burned out. It's just, the reason I think I'm so frustrated is because like it's not his fault. I think it just feels like powerless.
On what level, when you say it's not his fault, do you know deep down if he wanted to, he would?
But he can't control his schedule.
No, you're right.
Like he needs healthcare. Like the way the union works is
I
like
don't mean
you have
like,
to work
I
a
don't
certain
mean
number
like
of
on
hours.
Valentine's Day. I just mean like making you not disappointed. Sorry, I'm just trying to start some shit.
No.
Stir in the pot.
No,
With
but
Nick
that's
Viall.
I think that's the thing though, because it's like in a relationship, like when you're disappointed, it's kind of an invitation to be like, am I being a brat or is this an important need that's not being met?
Yeah.
Like
I've really struggled with that in relationships. It's hard. I've always prided myself on being trustworthy and being like, before I react, like let me process type of thing,
yeah.
Am I reacting to an insecurity? Am I reacting to something valid? Something I really struggled with because I've prided myself on being the trustworthy kind of like, hey, I'm not jealous kind of boyfriend type of thing versus saying like, I don't know. I don't like, I'm not okay with that or things like that. And I have gotten it wrong in the past. You kind of wonder, it's like that you don't want to be too jealous or you don't want to like take exception to things or you don't want to be too critical or you don't want to sound condescending. But then you think to yourself, I think I should have an issue with this, or I think I should speak up, or I think I should say something because it is important to be heard. And then, like, you just want to communicate like, hey, like, does this seem as off to you as it does to me type of thing? And yeah, it's a challenge. I've really struggled with that in relationships.
I think it's hard also though, because it's like, I see it from his perspective where it's like, if he's fucking exhausted, like working like just like dead on his feet, like working insane hours. And then his girlfriend's like getting like upset with him for like, or like very visibly disappointed with him. Like I didn't like say anything. I wasn't like, how dare you or anything. But like I think he could tell I was like a little bummed. And it's like, but does he need to, like the same way that I'm like, why aren't you supporting me? Is he like, well, I need support from you. Like I need someone who's like, can be okay with me having like a really crazy work week and like hold down the
fine
fort.
line. Such a fine line.
It is. It's also like I feel like there's such a like I was talking to my mom about this where sometimes when you disagree on like kind of the way you tend to care for someone at your base standard, asking someone for more can sound like, why aren't you picking me roses on Mars? Like this crazy thing to ask for. Like
Sure.
that, what sounds like that to somebody else can be like a really like central need for me. And so I also am aware of the fact that like we had a really nice picnic this weekend. He went to this very cute cheese shop. He got me my favorite like cheese that I tried when we were on this trip together, bought beach chairs, everything, like really like gorgeous romantic picnic.
But then sometimes you also want to know that they have the capability of still going out of their way for you, even when they are, kind of going through it. Because sometimes in relationships, you need to know that your partner can still say, well, I'm still in a relationship. I still have people I have to love and make feel loved and cared for and make feel secure, even though I am busy or preoccupied. And it's a balance, right? Like it's that constant like juggling and
because I think that's like my biggest fear in like the relationship I'm in right now is like we just know that we're different in terms of like we're both. It's funny because like he's super friendly and extroverted, but in terms of like the way he decompresses and processes and like moves through emotion, a lot of that has to do with like him having time to like think it out on his own versus I'm much more like external and I want to like talk it through and feel like seen and heard in the things that I'm figuring out. And so I think I just like have this big fear that what support looks like would be conflicting. And so that way it's sort of one person has to choose to be selfish or the other person has to choose to be selfless. And that feels bad. So we're figuring it out. We'll see how it goes.
Good luck.
He doesn't listen to this, so.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Hey, therapy it's just so important. I mean, listen, it's amazing how much we invest in clothes and gyms and trainers and all these other things, which is great. I'm glad you're all investing in yourself, but invest in your mental health, people, whether it's your relationships or your own personal well-being. Don't muscle through life, talk to people. It's amazing how life can change when you change your perspective, and BetterHelp is helping people connect with mental health professionals and making it super easy and convenient to get connected with a therapist, because that's really the challenge, honestly, of starting therapy. Really, two big things. This is finding the right person that you feel comfortable with and cost and affordability, and BetterHelp is helping with both of those things. You go to BetterHelp.com, take a quick assessment. You can be talking to a therapist in less than 48 hours from the comfort of your home, your phone, your laptop, your computer, your iPad, whatever it is. You can do it video to video. You can do it just audio only, because if that makes you feel more comfortable. There's really no excuses not to just sit down and talk to someone. If you're struggling with life, please, I just insist that you just go talk to someone. It's amazing what therapy can do. It has helped me so much. It has got me through so many challenges in life. Even when I'm feeling generally good, therapy is such a benefit to my life. And I hope that you all take that journey of protecting and caring for and investing in your mental health, and let BetterHelp be a partner with you on that journey. If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/VIALL today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/VIALL. Right now, Hungryroot is offering the Valentine listeners 30% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. Just go to Hungryroot.com/VIALL to get 30% off your first delivery and get your free veggies. That's Hungryroot.com/VIALL. Don't forget to use our link so they know we sent you.
And also, the best part about Hungryroot, not only do you get these fresh meals delivered straight to your door, I myself love that I was able to put in that I don't like spending time cooking. If I have to spend a long time cooking, I'm not making it. So all of the recipes they sent me, 20 minutes or less to prepare, super easy, minimal ingredients, fresh, healthy, love it.
And delicious.
And delicious.
And healthy for you.
And healthy
and
for
delicious.
you. And delicious.
And
Thank you, Nick, so much. And they also have snacks. I had like jerky sticks. I had individual little cheeses that I could bring to the office, like bars, yogurts, like a bunch of healthy stuff to supplement the meals, because I feel like half the time with meal services, that's the hard part. You have these great meals, but then what's filling the rest of your day?
It's also like, I really like that you can customize it, because you can fully say like, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. If one week you want all snacks, awesome. If one week you just want like dinner options, it rocks. And also like 30% off of groceries rocks.
Yeah.
Truly, just like, I feel like it's so, like, I told my friends to try it because I'm like, why would you not just get 30% off your groceries for a week? Like, that's awesome.
And it's just, you can customize, like you said, customize it. I was trying to increase my protein. So I was like, I want yogurts. I want this like yummy protein smoothie that again, things that I can take on the go that are easy, but you get your free veggies for life. Maybe you want to do more produce. Maybe you just want, meals. It's completely up to you.
Again, right now, Hungryroot is offering the Viall File listeners that 30% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. I mean, you got no excuses not to just get a different variety of great different types of food and helping it make it easy to just take care of yourself. Just go to hungryroot.com/VIALL and get that 30% off your first delivery and get your free veggies for life. That's right, hungryroot.com/VIALL. And don't forget to use our link so they know we sent you. What else we got?
We had someone write in and say, I was watching your Going Deeper episode with Joey, where you discussed a what would you do situation if you knew your best friend was cheating on their partner. Well, I have a friend who experienced the opposite. Her best friend didn't tell her that her boyfriend cheated on her. The friend didn't tell her that her BF was cheating on her for several months, and when she finally told her, she did it on a 9-hour road trip with just the two of them. And then she goes on to say,
she was with her friend and on a 9-hour road trip, be like, hey, by the way, your boyfriend's cheating on you.
And I've known for months.
Yeah, several months, apparently. And the person who wrote in said, I would love to hear your insight thoughts about this. Like, I would.
Bad fucking friend.
Buzzer.
Yeah.
Done.
What's the friend? Who's writing in?
This is like a different
friend of a friend.
A different friend saying, I have some friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, being like, my good friend. So her other friend is sus.
Is there anything in the note to defend the shitty friend?
Well, it says, okay, so apparently the other friend said that she was allowing time for the guy to tell her, and if he didn't, then she would. But it had been several months. I call bullshit on the friend. My friend was so fucking angry, she turned the car around and canceled the trip altogether. Okay. And then, not long after, she moved in with that friend as a roommate and became even closer to her, which I've always found weird since she wasn't a great friend. To each their own, I guess, but I would love to hear what y'all think should happen in that situation.
I think the timing has to be a matter of days or like a week.
Well,
I don't think you can say, tell her in the next year.
Well, maybe that's the real question. Like, how
What's
long
the
do you
time?
give the partner before you're like, I'm going to do it?
2 weeks? I think it's being generous.
Yeah.
I would not. If I found out my best friend's husband was cheating on her, I would tell him matter of days.
Which is fine.
I
Which
mean,
is appropriate.
she
But
would
I'm saying
find
if
out when I castrated him.
you could sell me on 2 weeks
Okay.
ish, give or take.
You got to process.
And those 2 weeks include a lot of I'm going to if you don't. Checking in every day. I'm going to if you don't.
Oh my God, I would torture them. I would do some psycho shit. I would serial killers.
I would move in.
Send them.
I would just sit on their
is
couch.
She still with the guy? Is there forgiveness? What was?
They didn't say anything about that. So.
Gotcha.
I mean, clearly they moved into each other as roommates, so they found some sort of agreement, even though they canceled their road trip.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe, who knows?
It also says boyfriend was cheating on her. So it sounds like, I think it's, or maybe that's a question, is it different if this person is having ongoing whatnot, or if it was just a one-time thing that you know about?
But was cheating
What's the
makes
difference?
it seem like it happened multiple
Yeah,
times.
Yeah.
It's
cheating.
not boyfriend cheated.
Had been cheating,
Had
so
been
could have been cheating.
Cheating
and
is
that's
an
also just what
ongoing-
that friend knew about.
That's what they knew about. I just find we live in a world where, again, people love to think they're good friends and people love to think they have good character, and they just don't. I think it's very easy to make excuses for yourself, and I think most people try to demonstrate good character when it serves them well.
Yeah, or perhaps their own fear and attempts at self-preservation really gets in the way for them demonstrating good character.
I think most people think about how it's going to impact them first, how it's going to inconvenience them first, what are the ripple effects of their life, by doing quote unquote the right thing. And most people make those decisions based off of them, again, being the main character in this story, even though in these situations they're very much not. And they don't like people to suggest that maybe they're having a low character moment. But that's the thing, who's judge and jury, I guess God, in a sense, if you believe in God or that type of thing, but I think people know, you know deep down, because most people don't do what they would want done for them in these moments. You're not being a friend of any kind if your actions in any way cause pain to others. Like hiding it from a friend, well, it's not my business. I didn't really know, or I felt uncomfortable. I didn't know what to say. Your decision is causing more pain to someone else. And you don't get to claim to be a good friend if if those actions you're doing are causing someone else pain, whether it's a friend of yours or someone you don't know or someone you don't like. You know, you don't get to decide, you know, the righteous action based off of your own selfish needs, which most people do.
Yeah. I guess it does kind of come down to like honesty and discernment, which is like, and I think this is absolutely a situation where it's like, once you know that information, you have a moral obligation to tell people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's other situations where perhaps you learn information and it's more of like an individual's interpretation and discernment of what is necessary to share, what's not. But this is not one of those.
How could you, like, if you're, especially, I mean, if it's a mutual friend, like they're friends with both, I mean, in this story, there's no suggestion that the friend was friends with him as well.
No.
Mhm.
I mean,
Maybe
the only
by-
thing is just that she knew, like, how would she know implies maybe some kind of connection to him. But definitely,
Maybe.
like, she is first and foremost this girl's
Yeah.
friend.
But let's say they are like mutuals, like she's friends with both of them. It's like, even still, like, I don't.
It's your friend. And also, how can you keep a secret? I would be so anxious.
Yeah.
How can you keep a secret like that?
Well,
like
because then
you're
you're
no
going to lose your
longer-
relationship with her.
It's
if
just
you
like
keep
people
holding
act-
on to it.
Like, you're not a friend, you're a fucking accomplice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it is. If this was a crime, if it was like an actual crime, you go to jail
Yeah.
based on these actions,
Yeah.
right? There's no like, oh, I felt awkward. I didn't know what to say. I didn't think it was my responsibility. No, jail. You're going to jail.
Jail.
Prison.
Prison.
Jail.
You're guilty.
Guilty
Like,
as
you know what
charged.
I'm saying? It's just like, and so why, you know, I understand, like, you know, cheating isn't illegal and no one goes to jail for it, or being an accomplice or hiding a secret isn't illegal, but like, it's illegal in the morality department.
The
of,
morality
you know,
police. Jail.
it's hard to do the right thing, which is why, like, it's hard.
Yeah.
And you know, most people don't get to claim they have good character. I mean, like, everyone likes to think they have good character, but like, I prioritize character. I mean, some people might think I don't have it. I don't know. And it ultimately doesn't really matter what I think of myself. I make a concerted effort to try to ask myself in these tough situations, like, what is the right thing to do? Not the easy thing, not the, you know, I try not to protect myself.
Do you think you can grow good character?
Sure.
Like, it's something that, like, yes, it's kind of like you have it or you don't at a given time,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
think you
something
can develop it.
yeah,
Sure.
work on it.
You know, these, like, yeah, I think people, all these decisions that most people make, I think it's just because people aren't holding each other accountable. You know, I do think you can develop these skills, and I think you can relearn right or wrong. And I do think you can have a mentor or a person in your life that really, like, opens your eyes to, like, these types of decisions.
I guess it's also about
Yeah.
your ability to withstand discomfort.
Sure.
Like, to be able to kind of process your own individual emotions in such a way that when something like this, it's super fucking uncomfortable and heartbreaking to have to tell your friend that her boyfriend's cheating on her. It's absolutely what you need to do as a friend, but like, it requires, I think, like, the emotional infrastructure and like self-awareness to be able to work through all the shit you're feeling. And even though the anxiety or whatever else is telling you to like run or justifying reasons that you cannot share, like being able to kind of parse through all that and be like, but at the end of the day, like, what do I owe myself and her? And can I take on like the collateral damage that comes with that?
This friend didn't keep the secret to protect her friend. She protected herself. Why she protected herself, I don't know. But like, people don't keep these types of secrets for the people being victimized. They're not protecting anyone. They're either protecting the friend who's doing the wrong, or most likely they're just protecting themselves. And that's what it really is. They're protecting themselves. I think in all those cases, you can narrow it down to their own self-serving needs. Maybe they have a secret they want kept. You know, maybe they're projecting their own wrongdoings or low character moments. Like, it always comes down to that person being selfish,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And I think, I do think a lot of it is like emotional labor though, of like convincing yourself it's okay to be distracted or to do other things.
Yeah,
But I'm saying-
the motive is
Let it
for
out.
your needs.
Tell them.
Well, I'm saying this as someone who got
Save your
a lot of
relationships.
targeted Instagram ads for being a participant in anxiety research studies. Like, do you all ever get those ads where it's just like, okay, fuck you. Like,
Sure,
sure.
yeah.
Like, nobody needs to set, like, do you think this is going to make me want to sign
It's like,
up?
my hair's not thinning that much. Like, I don't, ooh, you
I
know?
got an email this morning from Taco Bell asking to be their Valentine, so that's mine.
That at least.
You deserve grade F meat.
Thank you.
It's as good as it's
I love
getting.
myself.
They said you're. I was going to make a really,
Don't
really
give up.
profane.
Have a taco.
There's an anal joke in here somewhere about a fiery asshole.
Spicy shits. Spicy shits.
And I'm sorry I said it without having the chops to make it, but
Preparation H. Yeah.
Oh my God. TBT.
your butt care routine.
Yeah.
Early in our career with
That was
you.
a nightmare.
Yeah.
What's your butt care routine?
Such an interesting collab.
So
When I did the Preparation H ad, and never tell your manager, it's like, what do you want for a caption? I was like, whatever, man. That's cool. I don't care. And then I'm posting it, and I had to ask my audience what their butt care routine was. That was a bad day.
Lesson
Also,
learned.
what the heck could someone say
Yeah.
other than like
Yeah, is there
maybe
a
some form
routine?
of hair removal,
I really sold out there.
bleaching,
I really sold out.
or like, but what is a butt care routine? What are people doing?
Yeah, is there like a daily regimen? Like when people wash their face?
Because when they say, because this is coming from
Toner.
Preparation H, so this is not the cheeks. This is like the crack.
There's some there.
Well, I strongly think that your butt care routine shouldn't include toilet paper.
What?
Got you on that.
You think you should only use baby wipes to wipe?
Not dry, sandy paper. There are softer things in this world than toilet paper, and I just don't understand.
Well, okay,
yeah,
other than
you would
wipes,
be
doesn't mean you
rubbing
put them in your ass.
in.
Like, yeah, a baby blanket is going to be softer than toilet paper. Doesn't mean I'm like
All
parting
I'm
my
saying
cheeks.
is I don't think your butt hair. I just don't understand. There are softer things in this world.
Wait, okay, when you say softer things, I said baby wipes, and you said there are softer things. What else are you
Well,
using?
Well, not
Cotton
baby.
pads.
They're not for babies.
Okay, adult
A
wipes.
bidet,
Okay, sure.
Okay.
yeah.
But you just leave it wet?
Like a hose.
Do you dry it after?
Yeah.
But what do you
It.
dry it with?
Well, it's clean.
But what do you dry it with?
A variety of things.
What? I am asking
I don't
questions.
know if I'm like really like I'm
I
okay
think-
with you knowing like 80% of my butt care routine, but I don't know.
I think what it is that you realize you dry it with toilet paper, and you.
No.
Oh, okay.
He dries it with something
Well,
he
what do you
doesn't
do,
want
what do you
America
do when
knowing.
you get out of the shower? What do you dry off with? A towel?
Yeah. You towel off your ass?
Sure, it's clean.
All right. How often do you wash that towel?
I shower almost every time.
Huh?
You shower to wash your butt.
I mean, I want to be clean.
No,
What
I
does
I
that
don't want any
mean?
residue.
So every time you shit, you get in the shower.
I prefer.
Interesting. You just part the
I try to go out of my way.
part the cheeks.
I need to move on from this. I'm really getting out of my comfort
we were
zone.
pushing you, and
Yeah.
you were doing a really good job. And thank
I
you.
feel tricked. It's President's Day. It's President's Day, that's right. And you should celebrate America by getting yourself the best sheets in this great land, and that is Brooklinen. That's right. Upgrade your life with amazing, high-quality sheets without the high prices. And if it's not just sheets that you want to upgrade to, their loungewear is as soft as an angel's bottom.
I recently got the Mulberry Silk Bundle, which is an
Ooh.
eye mask
Yeah.
and a pillowcase.
It's nice, yeah.
I will tell you, my skin has never looked better. My eyelashes and hair have been growing.
Oh my God! Wait, you mentioned
I
that.
literally have not looked better or slept better than when I have this pillowcase and eye mask combo. And I feel like I look good while I do it.
Brooklinen sources only the best materials for their products, so you can drift off without a care in the world. I can vouch for that. I every time I talk Brooklinen, I'm like, what do you put in? Like, what is this made of? They have over 100K happy customers raving. 5-star reviews, over 100K 5-star reviews. Is that even possible?
You can't argue with that. That's science.
They have duvet covers, comforters, all-season duvet covers, towels, hand towels. They got candles. I mean, Brooklyn
Robes.
has it all.
They have great robes.
It's amazing. Everything they have is incredible. So don't sleep on savings. Brooklinen's President's Day sale is happening right now. Listen, you got to go. You got to buy it. You got to try it. Listening after the sale? Well, don't worry. Get the deals of your dreams at Brooklinen.com with promo code VIALL. That's BROOKLINEN.com/VIALL. Brooklinen. Get it now. We have a great episode for you. Don't forget to send those questions at AskNick@theviallfiles.com for all things Ask Nick, mediation, fights. If you're stuck in a situationship, we still would love to get two people in a situationship on the show at the same time. Don't forget on Thursday, our AMP show, Better Date Than Never, live show all about dating relationships, maybe even butt care routines. This Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So it's a great week lined up for you. Can't wait to deliver all the goodies.
Also, extra special Friday update episode.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget good update episode this week. If you've been trying to listen to Better Date Than Never but just can't catch up the live episodes, if you want more updates, we have some surprises in store coming up for you. Get ready. It's going to be very exciting. More and more stuff from us. This week on Going Deeper, Francesca Farrago joins us to talk about her
Perfect
time
Match.
on The Perfect Match on Netflix. It's a wild, wild show. We'll be talking about that. Let's get to our callers.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
Hi, my name's Jessica. I'm 31 years old, and my boyfriend is still very close with his ex-girlfriend, and I am having some trouble navigating that.
Okay. How long have you been dating your boyfriend?
About a year and a half, but we live together. We have a dog together. This is a very serious relationship.
And
so.
tell us about this bitch.
Yep.
I'm just kidding.
Let me tell you.
So so you live together, year and a half, full on. You're in a relationship. You're talking about your future.
Yeah.
You have a dog. Like, he could be your person. How long did you date this horrible person? How long did you date her?
We've been together for a year and a half. We moved in literally 3 months in. So it's been, it was very quick.
Okay.
I feel like I kind of let go the issue that I had with the ex-girlfriend over time. I kept trying to push it down, but they regularly text and DM each other. They don't see each other very regularly, normally in like group settings, but she's been in my home. I have no problem with her. At the beginning of our relationship, his friend had said that he thought my boyfriend had been holding a torch for her, which is not something you want to hear. And
how long did you date her for?
They dated for probably like a year and a half as well. But this was like in his early 20s, right? This was like 10 plus years ago.
Okay, so
but
yeah, how long? So they had not been dating for a long time before you guys started dating.
Right. Yes. But he hadn't dated anyone since her.
Okay.
So she was the last relationship.
Yeah.
First and last relationship prior to me.
When you two met, I got to assume you remember the conversation in which she got brought up.
Yeah, because he brought her up as like there was the bringing up her as the ex-girlfriend, and then also mentioning that they're still friends, still in the same friend circle, and that was something that I was like, okay, I mean, maybe it's casual, but I think I've just gotten really stuck in my head. My therapist says that I am using this as a trying to find red flags sort of thing, trying to find something wrong in the relationship.
Telling you that this is a you problem and that you're just creating problems that aren't there?
Yes, because of who he is and how I've described him. He's an amazing partner. He treats me wonderfully. Like, he's amazing with our dog. He helps me with everything, very supportive of me. We work so well together. He doesn't go out until 3:00 in the morning with his boys showing up drunk, having giving me any reason to worry about anything else.
Yeah.
I don't worry about him physically cheating on me in any way, but I think it's really hard. I think because of the lack of communication with him, if I've ever brought it up, it's in some passive aggressive way instead of actually full on.
So you recognize that that's something you can adjust and fix. But
yeah,
I mean, I'm not a therapist. Yada yada yada.
I'm just convinced. Well, there's also
what does your body tell you?
That my body literally goes in on itself every time they're in the room together.
Okay, that matters.
And I have to watch it happen, and I'm hyper aware of him and how he looks at her, how they interact.
What did your therapist say about that? Because that's not That's not you self-sabotaging. That's your body responding to you not having addressed something. And maybe that addressing it is simply having a productive conversation with your boyfriend about it.
Yeah.
And maybe you haven't, and you've been passive aggressive or whatever, and not fully transparent with how you feel.
I think part of the reason why I'm so adverse to having a full-on conversation with him is because I think the way I've approached it so far has caused it to be sort of a frustration.
That's normal
on his part.
Yeah.
But for him too, right? he doesn't really understand why I feel this way. And so my
I'll help
little
you.
jabs.
I'll help you help him.
Please.
It's not that hard. You did. Okay. So like, yeah, you didn't communicate effectively early on. This won't be the last time, if this relationship continues, that one of you might have to say, hey, listen, I know I acted like this didn't bother me. I apologize for how I communicated with you. I haven't been upfront. I've been passive aggressive. I'm sure that's been frustrating to you at times. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I just didn't talk to you about some insecurities I have because, things I need to work through. But I'm telling you now, I hope that's okay because I do love you and I want to be with you. Like, I just want to be with you. But I feel insecure about this. It gives me anxiety. And I just hope that, I understand this is a frustrating topic, and I know, again, we brought this up a lot, and I take responsibility for this still being an issue because I, again, haven't fully been upfront with you of how this is affecting me. But now I'm really trying to do that. So can we talk about this? There you go. You say some version of that. And he should be okay with that. And he has the right to be frustrated and a little annoyed, and he can be like, all right. But he should still acknowledge of like, okay, I don't want you to feel this way. So yeah, I'm a little, okay, wish we didn't have to, but let's sit down and talk about it. You both have to be willing to like start this conversation over because you're willing to share new insights and some real honest feelings about how you feel. And he needs to be willing to hear you out and then address them, and not just be like, well, I've already told you X, Y, or Z. And then a way to help him maybe understand why you feel the way you do, you could say, well, we've been dating for a year and a half. When you first met this woman, I can totally understand that in that moment of getting to know me, why the idea of alienating a friend you knew for the better part of a decade wasn't on the table when you were getting to know me. And I never want you to alienate any friends. But as I've gotten to know you and as our relationship has evolved, I am now like realizing that you still are prioritizing investing a decent amount of emotional energy into that friendship, into that relationship. And the more we become closer and the more I think about spending the rest of my life with you, the more I want that emotional energy to go to me and us. I've always had a ton of women friends. And while I was single, and I'm just telling you this is just me, not role playing with you anymore, but I valued those friendships immensely, and they're still friends. But when I got into a committed relationship, I wanted to focus that emotional energy on building that connection with Natalie. There's only so much of me to go around, like things I used to talk about with other girlfriends, I wanted to talk about with Natalie, and he's still choosing to want to talk about with her. Why isn't he talking about all these things with you? Do you have a rapport with her?
I have a very, general group setting type rapport.
Yeah. Has she in any way gone out of your way to try to become your friend?
No.
That's a red flag.
I mean, neither have I.
It's more her responsibility. You're the girlfriend. It doesn't mean like anything's going on. It just means like it's not your job to fight for the attention of your boyfriend in a committed monogamous relationship where you guys live together and talk about your future over a friend of the same sex to you in a heterosexual relationship. Like, that's not your burden. It's his burden to try to figure out how to make you feel secure in this relationship and then try to still maintain friendships as long as it's within the boundaries and expectations set between the two of you. And you guys haven't done that. That's both your faults.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't fully been honest about what you're comfortable with and what expectations you have. And you've let him, like, you've played the cool girl or whatever, the pick me kind of energy of like, well, I'm just going to be cool with whatever. And like, I'm just going to let him just like, I just hope he decides to do the right thing. It's like, and you're right. Yeah. You probably had the best of intentions. And somewhere along the line, things kind of got a little muddy and complicated or whatever, but he probably does still hold a candle to her. And there probably is some connection. And I'm almost willing to bet that what this anxiety your body feels is because there is some sort of connection. He is holding on to her and doesn't want to let go. And that doesn't mean he's fucking her. And it doesn't mean he doesn't love you. It just means that he is not being totally honest with himself about what that relationship really is. And I think it's weird that you've been dating for a year and a half. And if she's as close to him as you say, I think it's fucking weird that she hasn't gone out of her way to really get to know you, like really made it a priority. Even if with you being a little like cold to her at first. Again, you're the girlfriend. It's your territory. Yeah. It's your relationship. So you're not wrong for how you feel, in my opinion. I don't know. Your therapist, I guess we're a bit in conflict, but I do think like my therapist tells me to often asks me how my body feels about things and tells me very much to listen to that. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean that like, it just means that your feeling isn't invalid. And if your body is triggering you and feeling some anxiety in certain situations, telling yourself that it's just some silly self-sabotage feeling, I think is a disservice to yourself. I don't know. I think that if nothing else, it's a conversation you need to have with your boyfriend.
But I think also one thing that you mentioned me like the idea of, you mentioned that this is a heterosexual relationship where he's having a relationship or a friendship with a person of the opposite sex. He has girlfriends, like friends that are girls that I'm totally okay with. Like just knowing that he had a romantic and intimate and sexual relationship with this person is what sort of
but
makes me nervous.
What I'm hearing more even than that is there is just something about her that makes you feel uncomfortable. And I honestly don't even think it's the fact that they fucked 8 years ago, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's on some level, and correct me if I'm wrong, that he prioritizes her more than you are comfortable with. He prioritizes her knowing about things about his life that you wish he would shift to you. And my guess is you feel like there's a closeness that he has with her that either you would want or just makes you feel a little uncomfortable because like, well, dude, we're in a committed monogamous relationship. And unless you don't want to be in one, I want that attention to go to me. And I think that's totally normal.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said.
I think you owe it to yourself to just first, you need to talk to him and just talk.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
And I would lead with your insecurities to help diffuse his frustrations or to make him feel like he's necessarily doing something wrong, because he's not necessarily doing something wrong. You have acknowledged that you didn't communicate your expectations and you weren't clear about how you felt and you try to pretend to be okay with something you're not. And I know how that feels and I've done that. And I can tell you that I regret doing that. We all like to think of ourselves as not jealous or emotionally stable or securely attached. And for the most part, maybe we are. But like sometimes I think in the spirit of thinking that we are healthier than maybe we are, we pretend to be okay with things that we're not. And we tell ourselves it's not a big deal. Oh, I trust him. And you can still have trust and check in and say, I don't know what it is. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. And can you help me work through this discomfort I have about what's going on? And I'm not even necessarily saying it's your fault, but I do know that I have this feeling. And I don't want to feel it around you or her. What I want to feel around you is safe. I want to feel secure and I want to feel loved. And I'm willing to recognize that part of this is a role I played, but I do need your help because we are in a relationship and we will at times have conflict like this. And I hope that if you ever come to me saying, I'm feeling insecure about this, I don't know how I feel, can you help me not feel this way? I would like to think that I'm not going to worry about and make you feel bad about it or get defensive. We're just going to sit down and we're going to talk it through. And maybe we might require couples therapy because this could be awkward. And you know, it is kind of a weird thing to navigate something that's kind of been on your mind for your entire relationship, but you never really addressed it. And so you feel like you don't have the ability or the clearance to address it now because you feel like your window's passed and it's not fair to him and blah, blah, blah. It's just like, it's all like, it's never a bad time to bring these things up and it's only going to snowball. And I think every couple can talk about these things, especially when their body tells them something's off, without being accused of trying to ruin a good thing. All I'm suggesting is that you have a conversation with your boyfriend about something that bothers you and see if he's willing to work with you and how to eliminate that feeling. Because I don't know what good it is for someone to tell you, well, just, I don't know, it sounds like he's a great guy. I'm sure he is a great fucking guy.
Worth having
I've been in
relationships
where, I just glowing recommendations. I was just like, oh, they're great people. And they were and are great people. But it doesn't mean they weren't doing things that I went back and thought, it just fucking bothered me. And I should be able to just talk about it. And that doesn't make me jealous or possessive. And I don't even really have the answer. I'm not even accusing you of anything. I just want to talk about it. And I want it to be I want to feel like that's okay to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the first step, right? Just have a conversation about it and then see what happens from there.
Yeah. But he needs to acknowledge that he is investing a lot of his emotional energy. And he needs to, I'm guessing, acknowledge that if you were investing a lot of emotional energy in another guy, he might not be indifferent to that.
I mean, I also think that I was just having this conversation with a friend, and if I'm veering off course, please let me know. But she was talking about how men put women in different boxes. There's like the friend box, or the like, I'm never touching you with a 10-foot pole box. There's the, I'd hook up with you for one night, but like that's about as far as it'll go. And then there's the dating box. And once you're in a box, you're not really. I
don't really agree with Tinks's box theory.
Is that what it's? I have no idea where she got it from.
I mean, I don't know. I think,
but now it's stuck in my head, Nick, and now I think like she was once in the dating box, and can she ever move out of that box?
Yeah, I don't know. I just overall, I think there's a lot of holes in those boxes.
That's fair.
Yeah, feelings can change. They can evolve. People can
That's
date
fair.
and become friends and friendly. I have dated women and slept with women that I truly became platonic friends with, and even without a girlfriend, there was no hooking up or no shadiness or whatever, certainly on my part, and I never thought on their part, so it's possible. Like, I don't think this is a sexual problem. I think this is an emotional problem. And I think you have every right to be a little envious of the emotional energy he is putting into that friendship. And it doesn't feel like it hasn't evolved. Again, like when you first started dating, it probably was like, all right, cool. You have a friend that's a girl. I'm hip. It's cool. Whatevs. No big deal. Like I have guy friends, but like now you've been dating for a year and a half, and how much he's investing in her over you hasn't really changed all that much. And that's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not weird, he needs to do a better job, and she needs to do a better job of making you feel comfortable and making you realize why it's not weird. It's not your job just to accept it. Again, trust is a choice, but like it's our jobs to make our partners feel secure, and he's not doing that part.
I hear you.
And sometimes it requires patience and communication. We have to repeat ourselves over and over to build that trust and security. At least that's what I think. What the fuck do I know? So,
I mean, you wrote a whole book about what you think, so.
Yeah. Well. But yeah, that's what I think you should do.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool. I really do appreciate you taking the time.
We would truly love an update on this one. This is, I think, very relatable.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot of people.
When I grow the cojones to have this conversation, I will email you guys back.
Well, I encourage you to grow them fast. What's the worst that can happen?
No, it's true.
You are just I promise you'll feel better. Maybe not immediately, and I'm not saying it won't be without conflict a little bit or frustration, but if you lead with love, if you lead with vulnerability and just ask for his help about wanting to talk about this,
okay.
I just don't see how it could go poorly. And if it does, that's a fucking red flag.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Maybe your therapist thinks the way you did because you have been gassing him up to your therapist in hopes that she doesn't really see who he really is.
100%. 100%. I'm very defensive of him in therapy. Like if I ever bring him up, I'll always. I mean, I did it at the start of this session, right? Like session, this therapy session here. immediately saying like, but he's amazing, 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 which he is. But I use those green flags to sort of like stifle my emotions that may be completely valid, are completely valid.
Super valid. And maybe there's a world where you can all be friends. And maybe just some minor adjustments need to be made.
That sounds like some multiverse world that I don't know if I'm going to live in, but possibly we can
Either
try.
way, it's not wrong. I'm just like, I just met you and I'm already tired of you doing nothing about it.
Fair enough. I'll work on it. I'll work on it and I'll update you guys.
All right. Amanda will email you weekly.
Yes. I will become your pen pal.
Do.
Give us the update.
And I'm giving her permission to shame your ass until you do something about it.
And even if you haven't done
That's probably
something
not in the DSM, or probably not something an actual therapist would do, but I'm not, so fuck it.
Yeah, my therapist was prescribing some shaming your ass.
Yeah.
But please do keep us in the loop. Even if you haven't done it yet, let us know why you're not doing it. I will be in contact with you.
Yeah.
You got this.
And more than happy to talk to him as well. Mediation.
Oh my gosh.
Super fun.
Okay.
It'll be fun. What do you have to lose?
All right.
You'd be like, it's one of
Do
my
it for
favorite podcasts. We'll have so much fun on it.
Bring her on too.
I was okay. You would love that. I was terrified to tell him I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing it during my lunch break.
That's
I hear that.
I hear that, but I don't know. Newsflash, relationships aren't perfect. They take work, and sometimes they require awkward conversations, and you need to run things by friends and like whatever, you know?
Yeah.
It's also the kind of thing where sometimes the narrative that forms early on can snowball into an extreme where on one hand it's I care so much about this relationship, I'm being vulnerable and calling into a podcast, getting advice on how to go about approaching this in the most compassionate way. Like you could see that as such an act of service and dedication to the relationship. There's also the if it starts with a narrative of wait, you called in and were like talking shit about me, you know, like, and so I would just whenever it does come up, maybe be mindful.
So much in our relationship, so much. I am so afraid to lose what we have. It is one of the most meaningful things I've ever had in my life. So just know that everything that I am talking to you about, that I want to work with you, is all like because of that. And just like, I love you so fucking much. And I just really want to feel happy around you. And I want to feel secure. And I want to acknowledge my role and me not feeling that way. And I'm hoping that you are willing to work with me on this. And I am asking for some patience because I'm sure I have said or done things that you find frustrating, but I hope that's okay. But I do need your help because this does bother me and I don't think I'm crazy.
That last part, I mean, I do think I'm a little crazy, but probably not because of this.
You're not crazy.
But
I don't doubt that you feel crazy. I don't doubt that you've driven yourself crazy, but that's partly because you've ignored your gut. You've ignored what your body is telling me, and you keep telling yourself these other things, and I don't know what's going on, and maybe nothing's actually going on.
Yeah.
If nothing else, then he's just like not prioritizing the way you want to be prioritized in a loving relationship where you're talking about your future.
I think also to Amanda's point, like I've snowballed this in my own head in looking at it from one angle. Always trying to find reasons to prove myself right. So it's not a two-way conversation yet. I don't hear his perspective. I don't know it other than those little moments. But
and I think sometimes subconsciously because you've sort of and what you're trying to do is you're trying to empathize and you're trying to have forethought, which are two really wonderful and well-intentioned things. And I find sometimes for myself, when I try to do those things, I can subconsciously, when I enter the conversation, because I've had this so many times in my head and I've responded to the catastrophic version that I've built out, then I can subconsciously enter the actual conversation with the other person using language that's kind of reflected of like this catastrophic place that I think it will go. And so I think it's the kind of thing where like just going into it with, you know, the care of saying like this could be a big deal has already served its purpose. You've been really thoughtful about it. Like it did its job. It was there to protect you and to make sure you would, you know, be mindful about this. You're being so mindful about this. And so going into the conversation, like let yourself let go of that need to protect by kind of clinging to that worst case scenario and really try to like treat it casually, which I know is always easier said than done.
For sure. For sure.
You got this.
Thanks, guys.
I'm very invested. We believe in you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
All
Bye.
right, bye. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name's Mandy, and I'm 33.
How can we help, Mandy?
I'm wondering how I turn a 5-year on and off again situationship into a relationship.
Blind hope.
Yeah.
All right. So if you listen to this show, I'm guessing you know how I might feel about your chances. So I would love for you to convince me how you think it's even possible. Like, what makes you believe that this is worth your emotional energy to attempt?
So a lot has changed over the 5 years.
Okay.
This is a person that's a few years younger than me, and
What's a
when we
few?
first met, he was 24, I was 28.
Okay.
So
Okay. So he's
4
4 years
years.
younger than you. Okay.
Yeah. I've traditionally always gone for older, so this is a little bit different for me, and I think due to that, there was definitely some ways he came off a bit young.
Or,
when
being a
we
24-year-old man in this day and age, it's
Yeah.
not settling down isn't necessarily a top priority for a lot of young men.
no,
So there's
and
that.
I'm not 100% sure if he's even there yet. I've actually never seen him in a relationship in the time that I've known him.
Okay. So not
and
knowing
then-
for sure whether he even thinks he's willing for it is definitely not convincing me.
No, no,
But
it's
I
not.
do appreciate your honesty because we're
Yeah.
just here to seek the truth. That's
Right,
all. That's all we really
absolutely.
want. Anyway, so continue.
Recently, when I hung out with him again after ending a relationship that I was in for a little over a year and a half, he was in a new career, seemed really motivated and driven by that, which is something I'd always seen him be a hard worker before, but never as passionate about something. He was also really leaning into saving for a house and progressing his life in that way, which is something I've not seen before. He kind of had been a bit frivolous and with his finances and such in the past. I'm seeing some growth in him overall as a person, and I'm hopeful that maybe that would mean there would be growth in the potential relationship in the future. I know both his siblings are married now, and that doesn't really impact him per se, but
You're hopeful.
could have some impact.
What prompted this thought? Because, like,
I
of
think the
course,
fact-
he's 4 years older, and unless you were investing in a total loser, chances are he's grown, he's evolved,
Right.
But does that mean he's your person? Does that mean he wants to date you now? Is he
Right.
saying this? Have you guys been hooking up? Like, where are you getting this resurgence of hope from?
So we did hang out about a week and a half ago,
Okay.
and did hook up. In that time, he did tell me he had really missed me. That was a bit in the heat of the moment, so I don't know how much of that to
I'm sure
take.
I'm sure it was all very true. It also means nothing as it relates to whether he wants to prioritize you or
Right.
prioritize a relationship with you. Like, I like you, I miss you. What do those really mean on its own? I like and miss people all the time. I don't want to make them a top priority in my life.
Right.
Yeah,
and I'm also kind of wondering if maybe he's been in the past a bit more passive because I've always been the aggressor and I've had other relationships during that time, one of which was actually a 3-year relationship in which half of it, about a year and a half in, it became an open relationship, and I hung out with him. During that time, he was the only person that I was hanging out with outside of my relationship. So that became a very complicated situation.
you were sleeping with him as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And kind of also growing kind of an emotional connection?
Yeah.
And did you talk with him about that?
Not too deeply.
You guys just pretended it wasn't going on?
No, I mean it was pretty direct as far as like, hey, that he was actually pretty hesitant at first because he was
Sure.
like, you've got a boyfriend, what's going on? He made sure that he wasn't stepping on any toes that
Sure.
he shouldn't be. And I was very forthcoming about all that with him. So it was well defined in that. But
why was it an open
the,
relationship? I'm just out of curiosity.
I think it was probably because it should have ended, but it was a better relationship than either of us had in that time, and I think we were trying to make it work.
Okay.
But it was.
I mean, but why were you trying to make it work? What caused that? Like, why do you think it should have ended? Like, what was the catalyst? Like, most people don't say, "Hey, like, oh, should we break up? Let's start fucking other people." Like, there's.
Right.
I think there's a specific reason why you guys went down that path. I'm curious as to what it was.
I think part of it was to maybe evade like a jealousy type thing. I've always had friends that are guys, and I've girls as well, but it's caused problems in past relationships, and I felt like I couldn't have any friends outside of that were males because of that potential. We were also living together at the time, so I think that definitely caused part of the higher effort to try to make it work when it really wasn't a great match.
Gotcha. And what did you think about the open relationship while you were doing it? Like, what were you feeling?
I felt okay about it at the time. In hindsight, I think it probably should have just ended, but I also think that I would have wondered if I should have given it more effort at that point. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get, like, obviously, I'm just more like curious. That was a big decision you made, and then you did it, and like, that was your first time doing that?
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I grew up really conservative.
Yeah, so I'm just really curious
so
about your state of mind, despite, you're not with that person anymore. Okay, you moved on, but
right.
Did you find it, do you think you'll ever do that again?
No.
Okay, so not for you. You realize that
No.
your intentions for doing it really just did not, your expectations didn't meet your reality when it came to that.
Right.
Okay.
I think a big part of it too was a lack of a physical connection. I'm a very physical love languages kind of person, physical touch kind of person, and he was not at all. And I think I was just craving that also. And that's something that I definitely see with this friends with benefits situation that has been going on for years. He's a very physical person. Of course, that always is great when it's filling that bucket for me.
You're addicted to his dick a little bit.
Addicted.
We can call it that. There we go.
Addicted.
You're addicted.
Yep,
You're
that
addicted.
reminds me of an old song.
Dick-dicted.
Oh God.
You're addicted.
We are
to hear that.
dictating
It
your
has-
dick diction.
It has such a roll off the tongue. Dick-dicted.
Dick-dicted.
Yeah, so you're addicted, I get that. I get the draw. I know what it's like to be consumed by your physical attraction to somebody. But what else, I haven't heard one thing from you that gives me any hope that there's anything more with this guy than some history and a really pretty dick.
I think there's always been a lot of chemistry there.
Don't doubt that.
He's also been there for me in some pretty tough times. I lost a family member in a pretty violent way a few years ago. We also, within a month, we used to work together. And within a month, one of our coworkers unexpectedly passed away too. He definitely was there, kind of actually waiting right outside the meeting room when that happened, because he knew it really impacted me, and just kind of took a walk with me to make sure everything was okay.
Okay, so he's been there to support you. That's nice. Like, when you guys last hooked up a week and a half ago, did you? Was it pretty standard in terms of, like, did you guys talk about anything? Like, where, like, if you were to pursue this, like, are you starting? He has does he have any idea? Like,
that's where I think that's probably my biggest issue right now, is how to even broach it, because I'm afraid of maybe afraid of losing that situation, but also I know we can't keep doing this.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
And off, on and off. It's
on one end,
ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right. You can't keep doing this. It's like, it's ran its course. You've had enough of sex. Two, there's also, like, almost certainly, if you want to keep going, he'll probably let it keep going too. So like, it's probably not necessarily the end. And on some level, you seem to be good with torturing yourself. So my guess is like you know, it's not the end of the pretty dick if you do shoot your shot if you don't want it to be. On some level, I guess maybe, you know, after hearing your story, like, this sounds a lot better than I've been in this consistent, very ongoing, very messy, very emotional situationship. And like, I've tried and he said no, and I've tried and he said no, and I've tried and he said no. And I'm just wondering, do you have a new way for me to try? Like, it sounds
it's never been tried that way.
It sounds like it's just been never really addressed all that much. If I'm him, I guess I'd probably have a lot of questions about that open relationship if you haven't really talked about it. You know, if I'm him, I'd want to understand what that was all about. What were you feeling and thinking? It's no wrong thing. I just would want to understand. You know, I'd find it fascinating. I mean, honestly, I'd be like, that's really interesting. Like, did you like it? Did you not like it? Like, what were your thoughts and feelings? You know, it's a weird thing to be the other guy. So like, maybe just try to like have some of these conversations with him. But at the end of the day, I think shoot your shot. You know, you just say, listen, it's been really, we saw each other a week and a half ago. You've been in my mind ever since. Like, I don't know how you felt about me in the past. I certainly I've always cared about you. I've always liked you. I've always appreciated everything you've done for me. But, you know, I've had my reservations about like us, you know, I've thought about us. And in the past it was like, I don't know if we're there, you know, but like, I wonder if we are now. And is that something you want to, like, I'd like to date. I'd like to take you on a date. I'd like to get to know you. I'd like to connect with you. And it's hard to say. It's awkward, but I think you need to say it in a very meaningful way like that, you know, like in a way like what you want. I feel like we've got the foundation of a really strong connection, but I really want to build on that. And I want to get to know you, and I want to become close to you. And I want to be your best friend, and I want to take our amazing sex life and turn it into an amazing emotional connection and see where it goes. And that's a lot, and it's heavy, and he might have to think about it, but at least you know you shot your shot, and maybe there's something there. But someone is going to have to like really go for it. And you know, and since you know what you want, you might put him
on the back burner.
It might as well be you. And I think you should be open to answering any questions and make it a safe space to take advantage of the rapport that you have to allow you guys to talk about as many things as possible that maybe other couples or other people just starting to date might feel a little awkward to talk about. And maybe you can find out sooner or later whether this is a real match, because you do have so much rapport. But there is an element of like, you guys need to start dating and start new, and, you know, and create a new relationship with each other, and let the old relationship help you get there faster, so to speak.
Yeah. I know while in the open relationship, he did say to me at one time, like, kind of wish we'd had a shot, but obviously now that's not an option with your boyfriend.
And maybe he said that because he knew he could say that, and he wanted to say that, and there was nothing to risk because you had a boyfriend. Right. You know, like, there's something there. I don't know what it is, and he might not know either. But if you ask, like, how do I do this? You go for it. You go all the way. You go all the way without worrying about whatever risk you might be taking.
I like that you said basically like offer to take him out on a date, because I have always gotten criticized in the past for being too much of the aggressor in situations. Like, I try not to judge myself too harshly for that. I feel like
it's who you are, and the right guy will love that about you. You know, a lot of guys who love confident women. I'm one of them. You know, you can be assertive in what you want without being bossy. You know, you say, I like you, or I'd love for you to take me on a date, or can we go on a date? You know, you can soften it up, you know, and still assert your expectations. And I'm simply just suggesting that you communicate your desires and expectations. And if you'll ever listen to the show, I want everyone to do that. And I don't think that makes you crazy or bossy or pushy or anything like that. People can be bossy and pushy, but it's through their tone and how they act and their unwillingness to like get, you know, they're just like, this is what I want, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. And you know, But like stating your expectations and putting yourself out there, that's not bossy or pushy or, that's just not wasting
at minimum,
your time.
It's flattering.
Yeah, it's just not wasting your time.
Yeah.
So go all the way or don't go at all.
Okay. All right.
All right. And then if he is open to it, then I encourage you guys to get into the weeds about how you guys feel and try to let the other person know that there is no wrong feeling to have, but you want to be able to express it to one another. And you want to, and that doesn't mean it might not get awkward or weird at times, but you're building a foundation of trust and communication. And to do that, you guys have to make the other person feel like no feeling is invalid or wrong.
Okay. I like that.
All right. Keep us posted.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Promise me you'll give us an update.
I will.
This is a promise.
It's promised. You got it.
Okay. I'm gonna follow up with Amanda about you.
Sounds good.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Things I want for this show.
Tell us.
I want everyone listening not to feel like meeting their expectations means they're crazy. I also want guys to start asking what women enjoy in the bedroom.
Yeah.
That's another hurdle.
That is the hill Nick will
I do not know how to
die on.
tackle that because not enough men listen to this show.
2 hills Nick wants to die on. 1, DJ over live band. 2, guys asking girls what they like in the bedroom.
Yeah, or what do they enjoy? Or what makes them happy? Or how can I make you think I'm awesome at making you feel good? I don't understand. It's not that hard. Ask for directions. I know guys don't like it. I don't understand. Ask for directions.
Maybe that's why people get so
what is that? Where did that come from?
addicted is because the general bar is so low.
Maybe
people will get
Bars in hell.
less addicted if, as a whole,
guys were just
we
willing
can
to
create a
softly massage more clits. What do you? I don't understand. It's just not that hard.
And to ask a question is so easy. So easy.
What do you like? How can I make you happy?
Yeah.
Wow. That would be a treat.
It's your moment. Tonight's all about you. Tell me what to do.
Wow.
Music to the ears.
Nailed it.
And knowing the women, the little bit I know, I feel like most women, after they received such generosity, they would be feeling very generous themselves.
Oh yeah, it's like a pay it
It's a
forward
mutually beneficial situation.
You know, when someone pays for someone's Starbucks drink in the drive-thru and then everybody does that,
all of
it's
a
like
sudden
you're creating an
domino
echo
effect.
chamber of oral sex.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't understand.
Until you ordered 1 iced coffee and the person behind you is ordering for an entire wedding party.
Let's bring them up. How's it going?
Hey, I'm Victoria. I'm 26, and my mom wants to buy us a house, but my boyfriend has too much pride.
Okay. Well, you said boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So
Of 7 years.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But
we're gonna get married.
Boyfriend. So
Yeah, I
why
know.
can't your mom buy you a house?
Well, okay, so she would buy the house, it would be in her name,
Uh-huh.
and then once we get married, she would gift it to us.
Okay.
And then so basically, because the reason why she would do this is because we just moved from Texas to Miami, and the real estate's very different from Texas. And for instance, like my boyfriend really wants a house. He's sick of condo living. He hates elevators, and I understand that. But the houses that he can afford himself are in very dicey areas.
Sure.
Whereas like in Texas, like you
Mhm.
can get a $500,000
Yeah, I get it.
house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my mom, I mean, I don't want to live in a unsafe area. I'm not going to put myself in a position where I feel like I can get robbed. Like I'm just not going to do that.
I guess how big of a problem is this? He's like, no, I refuse. I'll break up with you. We'll never get married.
No.
Where are we at with how he
So
feels?
where we at right now is at first she was like, maybe him and I will go half. But again, like he can't match her on that, and like she doesn't want to do a mortgage. Like she just wants to do cash. Like that's just the way she is. And
So your mom's
so
in a position to pay for a house via cash.
yes,
Great.
and like she would want to do that for me, but also for him as well, because this is going to be my husband eventually.
So that's what I feel like. I feel like that should just be the focus. I mean, you know, all the planning aside, you're not married. You're just not, and until you're not even engaged.
Yeah.
Okay. And
yeah, no, I know that. Yeah.
and that's not to necessarily throw in his face or whatever. It is simply the reality that you two are boyfriend and girlfriend. You have a mom who is financial in a very favorable financial position to do something generous for her daughter, especially if she does end up getting married. In the meantime, your mom is simply just making a financial and real estate investment. And I'm assuming your mom will work with you on A, the type of house that you might want to live in, but B, my guess is she might have input on whether she thinks this is a good buy or, you know, if your mom, I don't know why your mom has all this cash lying around, but chances are she's not bad with money, and she knows what she's doing. And so why isn't this just more of a decision between you and your mom? Knowing that if your boyfriend decides to take the next step and propose, and you guys decide to take another next step and get married, that you have a house, and then you guys can, you know, why?
I agree. I agree. Basically, like he wants something in like his name. Like he's just sick of paying rent, and the way he's seeing it is like even so, it's not really mine if like your mom's buying it. And I'm like trying to explain to him like eventually it's going to be ours. She's just helping us, and she wants to put us in like the best financial position to not to pay a mortgage, to worry about eventually family planning. Like,
well, this aside, why aren't you guys engaged? How old are you again?
26.
26. Not, you know, you're still young. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, we've talked about it. It'll happen within like the next year. Like we're just not in a rush. Like that's just
okay. Great.
I don't know. Like I'm not in a rush.
Great. I mean, that's awesome. It's just, he's not making sense to me.
I agree. Like I agree. I mean, to me, it'd be silly not to. I guess maybe the difference is like what my mom would prefer to get a condo. She's like, why would you not get a beautiful condo on the water in Miami? You're young and 26. Why would you get a house a little far away from all your friends and like not like why would you do that? You can do that in 10 years.
Yeah.
So and I agree. Like I'm just like, yeah. So I mean, the way I guess more than I'm asking is like, because I have relayed this all to him, like he's aware the ball is in his court, but I just more of like how to like communicate with him about this, because like to me it makes so much fucking sense. Whereas I don't know if he has too much pride.
Does
like,
he acknowledge that he doesn't make sense? Because it's one thing if he's like, listen, I understand, but this is something I want to do, and I got a lot of pride. And like, has he acknowledged his pride?
He has acknowledged the fact that he wants to have something for himself. Like he really wants to like,
and he has the right to do that. And nothing that we're talking about is stopping that from happening. You know, it's certainly allowing him to work hard to meet whatever personal goals he has of accomplishment. But even still, like, can he acknowledge that his reluctance to let this happen is all based off of his pride? It's not based off of like pragmatic thinking, you know? It's just his ego.
Yeah.
You know, and his ego's so big that he's literally willing to not only put himself in a more unfavorable position, but put his girlfriend of 7 years, who he plans to get engaged to and marry, in a less favorable position, just so that he can feel more like a man. But that's something you guys need to work on. And I would, if I were you, I would be reluctant to want to get engaged to someone who is so hard-headed and so stubborn, and I guess maybe insecure with his masculinity, that he can't allow a you know, it's one thing if your mom was somehow like spending money she didn't fucking have. She's literally paying
Yeah.
cash for this fucking thing.
And she's like, this is an investment. Like the thing is, it's like, I think he's leaning more towards like this would be dumb if I didn't do it, but like I think he's just like worried like about like the what's the right term, like the ties that he might have to like
Ties
like
of
if my
what?
mom
That's the thing.
I
Your
don't
mom's
know,
not
like,
asking for
like, he
anything. She's
owes
like,
me
I'm gonna buy a
something.
house and I'm gonna let you guys. I'm gonna let you fuckers live in it. And if
And
she
we'll
even
pay like the HOA, we'll do all of that.
yeah, if she
Like,
makes you guys pay rent, okay, well you're gonna have to pay rent somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't make you pay rent. I don't know. That's between you and mom.
mhm.
But like, I will say, if your mom makes you guys pay rent, you should both be paying rent.
Right. She's not gonna make she'll make us pay the upkeep, which is like
Okay,
less than rent.
So like, what's the fucking problem? She's literally hiring you guys to be property managers, and you're getting a great discount. I don't, you know, and like he's 20. He's also 26.
He's 28.
Okay, so he's 28. I didn't buy my first home until I was 40, and I'm crushing life. I don't like, you know.
Yeah, and you have a beautiful home, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Like, 'cause,
And-
like you're in a
so, like,
position to have a home.
Yeah, and I made certain decisions that like instead of like buying a house in Wisconsin, I chose to take some other risk, whatever. It just like so I just think you need to have more conversations with him about why this is such a struggle with him.
I think because he mainly wants a house, and the thing is, like, the houses that he can afford are not great. I mean, the houses my mother can afford, she can are great, like in good neighborhoods. But the thing is, it's like the way she thinks of it's like the better investments of condo on the water.
Okay, wait, these are
Like-
two different discussions.
Yeah,
Right.
that's yeah.
So first discussion is your boyfriend comfortable with your mom gifting you real estate at all? Because it's I'm getting
Okay.
I'm hearing the answer to that is no right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
then
mean, it's yeah.
if he eventually gets to a yes, then that's a separate discussion of, well, since she's going to gift it to us, where do we want to live? And sure,
Mhm.
he whether I agree or you agree or your mom agrees, maybe he wants a house. Maybe a lot of people don't like condo living and don't want to have
get it.
neighbors and like want a home and they want to have a yard and they want to work and they want to feel like this is their sanctuary. Once I owned a home, I fucking get it, you know. But
That's exactly what he wants.
you know. But that's completely
I'm
separate than
indifferent,
him
too.
being okay with your mom helping at all.
Yeah.
So make
That's-
sure you're
yeah.
not muddling and combining two different arguments that seem, I mean, they're clearly connected, but they're not. They're completely two different decisions.
Yeah. Well, because it's also based on like location too. Like that's the main problem for us. It's like he works up at the Hard Rock Stadium, whereas I work in South Beach, very far away from each
Again,
other.
but yeah, that's a whole separate conversation.
Yeah.
Because you guys are going to have that issue. Where should we live, regardless of
Mhm.
mom? And
Yeah,
your
I guess
financial
that's where it's
limitations
hard.
might play a role, but like either way, it's like he's kind of contradicting himself because the only thing that could change is, well, now that he's willing to accept mom's generosity, well, now he's able to afford a house he wouldn't able to afford on his own. If he's willing to put
I
up
know.
a fight to like convince mom and you to do the house instead, then he maybe isn't that far off from just saying yes to mom's generosity. And
Yeah,
listen, like
I
to your
just-
mom's
yeah.
point, it's just like, well, I could buy a condo now and it might not be your first choice, but since I'm the one doing it, I think it's the better investment or smarter play. I don't know. I don't even know if it is. And
Mhm.
and so, and then she could always sell that condo. She could rent it out to, you know, it could be an Airbnb or something. And then you guys, you know, and you figure something out where like, and if she's gifting it to you, you guys choose to sell it and use it for your down payment for your first house.
Mhm.
You have
Yeah,
options,
I-
but you first have to
I
figure out
agree.
whether he is okay, and he should be. And it's weird that he's not.
I guess how to communicate, because I mean, talking about like money stuff is like the hardest things to talk about when
but
you
also
do these
one of the
things, when you
most
get into
important
it.
things to talk
Exactly.
about. So
And we talk about it, but like this is like obviously a big financial decision.
Yeah.
So I guess from your perspective, like how do you like communicate stuff like this in like a very like calm manner? Because like I feel like I can get agitated pretty
Well,
easily
try
when it
not
comes to
to.
this kind of
Ask each
stuff.
other how each
Okay.
other feels about it and do it without judging. So, how does this make you feel? And give him space to express himself and listen, and don't fucking
Okay.
respond at first. Just listen and then say,
Okay.
I'm not responding because I'm ignoring you. I want to think about what you're saying. I want to think about how that makes me feel. Slow down the conversation. And then
Okay.
you say, okay, well, all right. Validate his points. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I understand. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, but what about, you just respond. Well, what about this? This is how I feel. Can I now express how I feel? But, especially when it comes to where you live, but you're not engaged. You're not married. So at the end of the day, this is really a conversation between you and your mom. Your mom wants to do something nice for you. Because tomorrow, you guys could not be together if you wanted. It's like you could break up like that. And I'm not trying to
I know, I
get in
get
your
it. I
head,
get it.
but like right now, it's just your boyfriend and girlfriend.
Right.
And that's fine you're taking your time. And that's fine you're not, but like you're still boyfriend and girlfriend. And if there was no difference between boyfriend and girlfriend or getting engaged or getting married, then you would have already done that on some level. So you can also not be in a rush. You can not be engaged, but also acknowledge that there's maybe justifiable reasons why you're not engaged yet. And that doesn't mean you're not in love, and it doesn't mean you're not going to. But like, it's like you're trying to play how you're acting like a married couple while saying you guys aren't ready to get married. So
Right.
start there, and it's okay. I do want to marry you, but we're not married yet. So let's enjoy being boyfriend and girlfriend. But my mom wants to do something nice for me, and I'm really grateful that my mom is able to do that, and I want to take her up on this offer. And since we live together, like, it would just make sense for you to just like, enjoy the fact that I got a mom doing something nice for me. I mean, what's the fucking difference
That's a good
between
way of
this
putting
and
it.
like your mom like showing up with a car, like she buys you a Range Rover? What is he not going to get in the car? He's never going to drive it? It's like, oh my God, I can't. I only drive my own cars that I buy that are in my name. What the fuck's the difference?
Yeah. No, you're right.
You're-
No, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
And then when you get engaged or married, you can start planning about what's best for the two of you. And in the meantime, tell him to bust his fucking ass and work his ass off and work hard and support him and tell him you believe in him and tell him that you are attracted to his drive. And yeah, in the meantime, gas him the fuck up. Tell him how proud you are of him.
He's what got us to Florida, which I'm so happy about.
Yeah,
Like,
so
he
tell him how
followed
much
his,
you
like,
believe in
football
him, how
dream
proud you
and-
are of him, and how excited about you life together, and that there's not a doubt in his mind that you're part of the reason why you love him is how you know he's going to take care of you guys and make him feel all the things that your average, like, man, whether it's toxic masculinity or whatever the fuck people want to call it, like, wants to feel,
Yeah.
because masculinity, I think a root of, like, it is wanting to take care of the people you love. It makes
I agree.
it makes us feel good, and I don't think that's a bad thing. So make him feel good about that you believe in his ability to do that, and I think that can go a long way with him, like, not making a big deal about your mom just wants to do something nice for you. And then once you get over that hurdle, and then as far as where you guys live, you're gonna have to decide. You're gonna have to work through that regardless.
Yeah. No, for sure.
What do you think the 26 and a 28-year-old should live? Like, where do you guys?
I mean, I
like-
would have lived in a condo in South Beach, and I would have had some fun, but not. I don't know anything about him, and it's not
Right.
crazy. He doesn't want to, because like,
Yeah.
my guess is you're not going to move that far inland. You might be like a 20-minute Uber ride away, and he might be thinking, I don't know, I don't go out that much, and I'd rather, like, I'm going to spend most of my time in the house, so I want to love my house, and if I want to drive 20 minutes to the clubs, I'll take an Uber. I don't think there's any wrong thing, and you guys will work that out. And again, you're gonna have to work that out regardless. But more than anything, stop acting married. Act like boyfriend and girlfriend, and make decisions based on the reality that you're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Right.
And that doesn't mean you're not in love. You know, you say very confidently to me, hey, we're just not ready. I'm not pressuring him. We met at 19? We're only 26. He was 21. Like, we're not in a rush. And yet you guys are acting like you have to act like you're married to somehow like validate like, oh, well, it's, you know, like what's the point of dating for 7 years if we're not like living together or we're not like thinking about our future? It's like, I don't know. Well, what's the point?
We're tired of paying rent.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with
Yeah.
playing house. Buying a house, renting, I mean, there's mixed opinions, but it's not always the worst thing.
Yeah.
Gives you flexibility. Flexibility is fun. Flexibility lets you chase your dreams. Flexibility lets you keep your options open, you know? And again, regardless, your mom, you know, it's just silly that your mom wants to do something nice for you. This is not a present to him yet. This is a present to you.
Yeah, I guess that's where his conflict is, I guess. It's just because it's not like technically his yet, but I'm like,
Yeah.
it will be.
Yeah. Nothing's been his yet. He's been living in someone else's home his whole life. Why is this all of a sudden a big deal? I don't understand.
Thick-headed.
I've literally never looked at my lease after I signed it. I mean, he's talking like he's going to frame his lease in his office and be like, it's mine. It's my house. It's my name on it. Like, who the fuck, you know? But I think you need to just talk with him about why he feels the way he does. And he needs to acknowledge the stubbornness behind it.
Right.
Because like,
yeah.
you know, these issues will bleed into other aspects of your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So just talk with him and create a safe space around why he feels the way he did. Acknowledge his feelings, make him feel good about himself, make him feel like you value him and you believe in him. And my guess is if you do that, he'll be a little bit more open-minded to like, because there's got to be some level of he doesn't want you to think less of him. He doesn't want to like not have you believe that he is capable of taking care of both of you. And you know, that's great that he has that ambition. So like, just find a way to make him believe that while still like taking your mom up on her offer.
That's a good way of putting it. I definitely don't validate his opinions on this type of things like that because I'm like,
I mean, knock on wood,
it
God
makes so
forbid
much
your mom
sense.
passes tomorrow and you inherit her fortune. Like, what the fuck's it? I don't understand. You gonna say no to that? What the fuck?
yeah.
Like, I mean, he needs to acknowledge he's just not making sense.
Okay. Okay. I didn't want you to validate my feelings, but I just wanted someone to like, because I'm like, this doesn't make fucking sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it doesn't make any sense, but like,
I would lean in as
Why
much
would
as you can on trying to really make him feel important and really
Okay.
make him feel like you value him and you believe in him and you're in awe of how hard he works, and really go for that for maybe like a week or two. And then who knows? It wouldn't shock me. He was like, you know what, babe, honestly, like, let's just have your mom do this thing.
okay. And I can see him coming around. Usually he'll talk to his father, and then his father's like put some sense into him, and then
Spend the next 2 or 3 weeks
okay.
letting him know how much you believe in him and make him feel like a king.
Okay.
But like
I will.
a hard-working king who wants to protect his people and really cares about, you know, like, and just, you know, see what happens. I'm just curious. Honestly, it's like an experiment.
No, I think that'd be fun. I think that's smart. I'll do that
All right.
for sure.
Well, keep us posted.
All right.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget, Better Date Than Never on Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Update special on Friday. Francesca Farrago on Thursday, Going Deeper. Jason Ritter helps us recap The Bachelor. I hope you join us every day this week. Can't wait to see more of you. Bye.